Do you want to improve your combos? Is your bike heavy? Is the geometry weird and you can't pop it up? Are you bending your axles? Well, in this review on the Collective C3, we're going to tell you everything about this bike in detail of what comes on this bike and why your combos will improve if you ride this bike. Like always, make sure you leave us a comment. You leave us a super, and yeah, just follow along. If you have any questions, just hit me in the comments below. I'll answer all your questions, and yeah, let you know a little bit more about this. So this is the C3. The C3 is pretty nice. It looks a lot different than a lot of the other bikes. It's got front brakes and got a couple other features and stuff like that. But yeah, let's do it like normal, how we normally do it, and go through all the stuff. So yeah, right now we're gonna start off with the grips. So these grips have a little micro knurl on them. The grip's pretty basic, so you could always switch it out. But if you're riding gloves or something like that, it would work really nice. Also, it's a little bit smaller diameter. So if you're a smaller guy, your hands can grab these handlebars pretty easy. Next is the brakes. So we have the Shimano 201 brakes. So it's 201 on the lever and the caliper. I'll show you the caliper in a second. It also has the front brake. Same deal, 201s. And the difference between this bike and other bikes is that this bike is from Europe, but it doesn't have backwards brakes. So this is the right side brake, and that one is the left side brake. They also changed up the bar from the last one. The last bike, which was a C2, this bike actually takes over that place, and they changed some stuff up on it to make it better for wheelies and combos. And notice the bar, it looks way nicer. The other ones were pretty gross. So these bars look really nice, which I think you'll be stoked on. Going to the stem, it's got a top load stem, just like their old bike. Nice aluminum stem. It's got some machined out pieces right there. The cap's milled out quite a bit. And yeah, it's a relatively light stem, but it gives you a lot of height. Also too, notice how it has a bunch of stack washers on it. That's pretty cool because you want your bars up high, but it also allows you to lower your bars if you need to. We're going down to the headset. The headset is a sealed integrated headset. These things work amazing for keeping your headset tight and not coming loose. So most of the other bearings have all kinds of weird stuff like a cup, which are the other, yeah, a few of them come with cups, and those things just wobble in your frame. And this integrated headset, you're not gonna have that problem. Going to the head tube, it's all machined down, an hourglass shape. So that looks pretty dope. And then it's got a big welds on it, and it's got a big junction right here. The reason why a big junction is good is because it creates more welding surface area, and it just makes the bike stronger. Going to the front fork, check this out. If you had problems with the other forks, you won't have problems with this one. This one's an updated fork from the C2 one, and now is a C3, and it's tapered right here to look really nice. It's got oversized legs that taper down, and they're pretty narrow, and it has room for pegs if you need pegs. This one is quick release, so you would probably switch out the wheel or the hub in order to run pegs on the front, but most people don't run pegs on the front. It's got a front 180 rotor, big rotor on here for a lot of stopping power. Quick release, real quick. So most people try to twist these things like a wrench. These things don't twist like a wrench. So you just want to get it pretty close and then use this little lever and tighten it down, and you should be able to tighten it down pretty easy. You don't want to force it really hard because that will damage stuff. So that's pretty perfect right there. Shimano 201 front brake on there. Also, it's got a little cable guide right here. If you need some cool cable guides, we do sell aluminum ones in colors, and we definitely have a purple to match this. So check out our website for that. Going down to the hub, it is an alloy, a sealed front hub, and it has a 3/8 quick release axle. And I believe the front hub is a 110 width, but I'll double check for you guys and leave it in the comments. It does have stainless steel spokes. So here's the stainless steel spokes. And then we also have the tried and true Maxxis. Let's see. Hookworms. These tires are great. Most people buy aftermarket tires and they usually buy these ones because they work so good. These are a 2.5 width, so they're really wide. This one's not too wide because I don't have too much air in it, but as you air it up, it will get wider. And if you have a wider rim, it will get wider as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's go to the frame. So going to the frame, this is a C3. Check out that sticker, it looks pretty sick. And then look at this cable guide right here that runs through the frame. Super sleek, looks super awesome. And then going to the back, the same deal. Look at the color. The color is just like an awesome metallic color. And if we zoom back out, it's got some more graphics on the bottom. Looks pretty rad. Going up to the seat, we got I forgot freaking what the name of the seat is. I haven't been doing this for a while, but if you know the name of the seat, leave it in the comments. I'll also leave it in the comments for you guys if nobody knows what it is. But this seat's pretty good. It's kind of like a microfiber. It's got the Collective logo on the back, and then it's got the stitching on the top. It looks pretty dope. It's pretty grippy, so if you're trying to do seat combos and stuff like that, this thing should hold up. Going to the seat post. The seat post is a micro adjust seat post, and these two bolts right here allow you to tilt the seat, so we can crank this seat all the way down. So what you're gonna do is tighten this front one up as much as possible, and then on the rear bolt, you're gonna loosen this one up as much as possible, almost falling out of the other side, and then crank this one down and it'll tip the nose all the way down and you won't have any problems. Going to the seat clamp, we have a quick release seat clamp right here. It's pretty heavy duty, but it's also milled out. I don't know if you can see, so you see how it's milled out to keep it pretty light. Going to the wishbone looks pretty sick, and it's got a lot of welds right here where everything kind of meets up and it just keeps the bike together. Seat tube has got a pretty rad graphic. We have, this is a 1x, so if you don't know what one geared bike is, or you want to call it like 10 gears, this one has 10 gears, but a 10 gear in the rear and the one in the front. That one is, you don't call it a 10 speed, they call it a 1x now, but it does have 10 speeds, if that makes sense. So if you're not trying to look like a noob, definitely call it a 1x and just say, hey, I got 10 in the back, and that'll describe everything that you need to describe. Going to the cranks, we got the Shimano Qs. These cranks are a 170 crank arm length, so the distance from here to here is 170. So 170 is a pretty normal size for bike life. If you go longer, you can pedal up hills a little bit easier, but you will have more chance of hitting the ground. But 170 is an awesome length, and yeah, I think you'll love it. Going to the chain ring, this is a 32 tooth chain ring, and yeah, it's pretty heavy duty, it's pretty thick, it looks pretty sweet. Shimano always makes some pretty awesome stuff. And then since it is a 1x, you might notice this thing here. So this is a chain guide, so you could actually move this around and turn it if your chain keeps dropping down. So you could turn it and make it hit or get closer to the chain, but you also want to give some clearance. You go to the back, you still want to get some clearance so that it can still get all the way up there. So make sure that you check that first before you adjust that. Going to the chain stays down here, it's got a pretty nice wishbone, same thing, aluminum, and it's just super thick. Going towards the back, it's got some more graphics here. And then the rear end, this thing has a crazy rear end and slash dropout. So let's explain this a little bit more. Notice how it has these little gussets right here to reinforce the chain stay, which is this tube right here, and the seat stay. You know, I mean, this one goes with the chain, this one goes to the seat. So pretty simple to remember, but this little bar right here acts like a gusset and creates this rear end to be super strong. Going to the dropout, this dropout looks weird, doesn't it? Can you tell what's going on with this dropout? One thing is there's a quick release right here and there's another axle nut here. But hang tight, I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Also, I noticed this hanger, derailleur hanger, is super thick and it goes completely behind the dropout. So the dropout is actually double thick, which is kind of cool. And then on the back side, there's a bolt or hex head that you can bolt this bolt to. The dropout is held up by these two chainring bolts right here. So that makes it pretty sweet because now everything's on there And then also this little bolt back here is also holding it on. Going down to the derailleur, we got the Shimano Q's 10-speed derailleur. These things work pretty awesome. Most of Shimano stuff's really good. Definitely trust it. Q's is more of like the how would you say, the cost-effective, heavier duty stuff. As you go up in line to the XTR stuff, it gets lighter weight and lots more money. But Q's is for people that are gonna thrash and do some stuff and they don't want stuff bending. So that's cool. And speaking of bending, see how this drop, let me see, sorry, this is a little bit hard to film and kind of look, but notice how this bolts right onto the dropout. So this derailleur bolts onto this hanger right here. So if you ever bend the hanger or hit it, you're gonna have to get a new one of these ones. Not sure if Collective sells them, but I'll double check on that and see what's up for you guys. But the cool thing about these dropouts is, like I said before, if you're having troubles bending your axles, you no longer have to run a peg on a skewer like this, which is a big no-no. I've seen tons of Bike Life kids run a peg with the quick release on one side, and yeah, definitely gonna bend that thing's like a needle. So definitely don't put your peg right there. But this is cool because you can pull this 17mm hex head nut off, and then you can mount a peg right to there. So now your peg is not on the axle and it's not gonna damage your hub. So that makes it awesome, and you're able to jump up and down and land on the axle, and you won't bend the axle. So, I mean, keep that in mind. If you're having problems with that, definitely buy one of these bikes. Definitely save you a lot of money and time. This one here is, I don't know what chain this is. It looks like Shimano chain, but I'll leave the chain in the comments. It is a 10-speed chain, so it is compatible with all this stuff. Going to the rear here, here's the rear brake. It is also the Shimano 201. This rotor is a little bit smaller. It is a 180 rear rotor on here, which 180 still does fantastic. You could even go down to 160 and it still has great stopping power. You do have a 10-speed cassette here. I don't know the brand, it's probably Shimano, but I'll leave it in the comments as well, or you can go to the product page and it's guaranteed listed on there. Going to the rear hub, it is a sealed rear hub, alloy hub, and it's got stainless steel spokes. What I noticed is that they also have chrome spoke nipples. So that makes the rim kind of look a little bit more expensive when you have black on black. It is murdered out, but for some reason, it just doesn't look as expensive if you have chrome nipples on the black on black. Oh, excuse me. Going to the rim is the same as the front. This thing's a double wall dome style rim. This is pretty common for most BMX bikes. Mountain bikes. A lot of mountain bikes have this dome style rim, and it holds up pretty well. There's some other bikes that the wheels bend pretty easy, but this one holds up pretty well. So I think you'll be stoked on that. Going to the back tire, it also has a hookworm tire here. And if you look at the back, you definitely have some clearance on there, and the chainsaw, you have some clearance. So if your rim does bend or you're carving a lot, it is not gonna hit the frame. So yeah, definitely you'll be stoked on that. Okay, so the main thing about this bike right here is the fact that it is actually designed for combos. A lot of the other bikes out there are not designed for combos. They are a big BMX bike. They might be designed for wheelies and stuff like that, but they're not specifically designed for combos. Also, too, notice how the C2 used to be a 20.75 tire, and it used to be a fat tire bike, and now this is a 29-inch bike with 29-inch wheels, and it's not a fat tire bike, because Collective is listening to you. They know what you guys want, and 29 is what you want. Also, too, what I noticed is that the geometry is a lot different than most of the other bikes that I've seen on the market. The biggest thing is geometry for me. Geometry can change anything in an instant. Looking at the bottom bracket looks pretty low. The rear end is pretty far slammed. Also too, the front end's not super long. You don't have a super long front end. And if you look at the seats, how tall the standover is. The standover is way lower than a lot of the other bikes. So if you're having troubles getting on a 29-inch bike and you're a little guy or not grown up yet, definitely look at this one because the standover height is really, really low and it makes it enjoyable to ride, and I believe you'll love it. So yeah, this thing is specifically designed for wheelies and combos. So if you're looking for one of those, definitely go and pick this up. If you're interested in other bikes, check out our website and you can check out other wheelie bikes. If you like this video, make sure you leave me a super. We definitely are the only ones that are showing the actual bikes online. Everybody else is showing pictures and doing a stupid PowerPoint, and that stuff's lame. Stop giving them love. You guys need to follow the real stuff right here. The ones that are giving you the real reviews, the actual reviews, and hang tight because I got something in store for you next time. Give me hella likes and I'll give you a hint of what I got going on in the future. I guarantee you guys are gonna love it. You guys are gonna trip out and it's gonna be dope. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.